So here are my 10 tips and ideas on how you can save money for college. My first tip would to not buy new textbooks. I think that it's not worth it to buy a new textbook for just to use it for 1 year. Um, my suggestion would be to rent or buy a used textbook because they're going to be much cheaper and they're going to be worth it, even if they might be a bit worn out or something like that, because you're not going to own it for the rest of your life or something. It's just going to be there for you temporarily. So I think that's a really good idea on saving money. My second tip would be um, try to take advantage of your student ID, and there are many areas where you can go out and you can use your ID to get cheap discounts. Like say the Apple Store, you'll get discounts because you're a student, and if you show proof, then they'll give discounts like 10% or 20%. And there are many other examples like that if you go out and look. My third tip would be to try to limit meals out when you're in college. If the college offers you a meal plan at school, I would say to take it because it's going to be a lot cheaper to do that than go dine out somewhere else, because it's likely going to be more expensive than the school food that you're going to get in there. I'm not telling you to completely eliminate the possibility of going out and dining. Just try to limit it as much as you can is my suggestion. My fourth tip would to choose housing wisely, and my suggestion would be to live in the dorms because it's a lot cheaper to live in dorms than it is to go live off campus, because it's likely going to be a lot more expensive to go out and rent or buy like an apartment or something like that for 4 years. So I would say dorms are pretty adequate for college life. My fifth tip would be to explore campus activities. I say this because that you can get a lot of like discounts and things like that, and free stuff from looking at activities. And you can get like a lot of cheap discounts like movie nights or fitness classes. They're available if you go out there and look at in your campus. And I think that's another way in which you can save easy money. My sixth suggestion is to try not to own a car. I say this because parking, gas, and insurance is going to be really expensive. Of course, if you already own a car and that's a decision you've made, and that's fine. And if you still want to make the decision, you can go ahead and do that. But my suggestion is that it's going to put additional costs in your pocket, and that there are places like public transit, and if you don't like taking public transit, things like Uber and other places are available. If you're comfortable enough, you can borrow other people's car, or a car someone else that you know has a car. So that would be my sixth suggestion. My seventh suggestion would be to try to talk to your local bank and see if they have any discounts for students or in saving accounts for students. I'm fairly sure that most local banks would have that, and that they would offer you something that would be cheap for students. So be on the lookout for that. My eighth tip would be to try to monitor cell phone usage, especially if you're on a limited plan, because that can add costs for you, and it's a really easy way to save some cheap money if you're really on the edge and you don't have a big budget. So that would be my eighth tip. My ninth tip would be try not to be careless with credit cards. Again, another obvious one, but if you do like to get a credit card, try to choose one with low interest rate, and try to be smart with what you're spending, and don't go out there and buy excess things that you don't need right now. Try to save money as much as you can, especially when you're in college. And if you have a student loan put down, that's going to be really expensive, and saving money from the get-go is something that I would suggest to a lot of people. My 10th tip is just try to stay focused on your studies and try to finish it within 4 years and get your degree done within 4 years, because additional semesters and years are just going to add on to the debt or any type of money you owe, it's gonna keep putting on more and more and more. So that is something that I would suggest to you guys. So yeah, thank you for listening to this. Those are my 10 suggestions on how to save money in college.